Herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe der Kamingespräche. Ich möchte kurz vor dem Interview ankündigen, dass ich gleich in die englische Sprache switchen werde, weil mein heutiger Gast nicht deutscher Muttersprachler ist, weder aus Österreich noch aus der Schweiz noch aus Deutschland kommt, sondern aus der Ukraine. Welcome, Inna Meteleva. Is that pronounced correctly?
Absolutely, yeah.
Perfect. Welcome. Thank you that you're here with me today. And I wanted to introduce you. That's how I do it normally, to tell some small facts about the person I'm interviewing. But I had a little hard time with you because you do so many things and you have such a huge history. I just followed you on the LinkedIn page and I was like, okay, probably this time I let you introduce yourself. So just highlight out what maybe describes you the best. What do you think is the best way to describe yourself as a person in your personal or also in your economic, job-wise way?
We will focus more on the professional or more on the personal description?
Both.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, and hope that for the next time I'll be more professional in my German. That is why for this time we will use the English. I'm Ukrainian and I'm in Vienna. And but at the same time, I'm in Ukraine as well, because I'm coming each month for a couple of days, because I had a project in Ukraine, I had the people in Ukraine, I have my family in Ukraine, and that's why it's like a very deep connection every day on phone, and for sure every time I want to be there as well to feel my people and my project there as well. My current positions, it's which camera?
Whatever you like.
Okay, my current position, I had a couple projects I run. It's the one most important, it's charity foundation. I'm head of the charity foundation, Sustainable Development Goals for United Nations. And for sure it's like the most important job from after the February 24, because we are focused on the internal replacement people under our support, like the women and the children who are coming from the most dangerous regions of Ukraine, where the war in the active stage, and we cover them with all the needs they need, food, clothes, everything. It's on the west part of Ukraine. Also, we are looking and we are supporting artists, because it was our main focus before the war. We supported not just the women and the children, we also supported the artists. And at the moment we have the number of the project in Ukraine to support the artists who are in the difficult conditions, and also we try to support artists outside of Ukraine. Usually it's the women who left Ukraine, and they need some support to continue their activities as artists around Europe where they are. Business project. Surely the business project. I am deputy chairman of the Association of Ukrainian FinTech and Innovation Companies. We have around 75 companies on the board. It's like the companies who had the products, as the startups, and even in this hard time we support them to continue the activities. We promote them in the European market as well, because for example last week we had a big event together with the European Commission to support our innovative teams, our startups, and to support and promote Ukraine, promote the entrepreneurship, to promote innovations around Europe. And we had a huge support from the European Commission, from the European Parliament, from the European politics to do that. And we will continue to do it as well. You know, it's like the business side. And also like my passion, I love agri-food. And I am working in the agri-food 15 years from the different position. I'm working as in the business, I'm working on the political side, I'm working as the advocacy side, and It's also one of my projects. It's like the agro-policy dialogue, because the Ukraine was famous of the agri-food industry. We have very deep connection with Austria. We had a number of the projects with the Austrian business in the agriculture. And at the moment, we also do a big job to try to help our farmers and our producers with the export support, because what we had the problem before the war, 95% of the Ukrainian products exported by the sea. Now the sea is blocked, and only the European borders, it's one way for export of our products. And also we are in the deep connection with the Austrian business to find the solutions, how better to do, how to deliver like that, and organize the communication and the business flows between Ukraine and the European Union, including the Austria. It's also one of the focus. That is why if I look to what I'm doing at the moment, for sure, like the most important is the charity job, and also like the most important the business activities, because we need to continue to support our business, we need to continue pay taxes, we need to be active, we need to support the country, and we need to like the we call it like the economical line of the war, you know, like we try to be useful everywhere we can. It's not just about me; it's like each Ukrainian.
And it's just one life you could fill up with all of these things. So it's really astonishing how much you do. But I think you forgot one other job you're doing. You're a mom too.
I will be crying, you know. It's like it's always too hard to talk about, because I'm mom and
I'm so sorry.
Yes, and my son in Kiev. Yeah, and. He's 23. He is big enough, you know, he's like the big boy. And for me, for sure, he's son, but he's man. And when the war started, first day, when I asked him, "What do you think? What do you want to do? Maybe let's go," because you know the rockets was explosion not too far from our home. And he said, "No, my decision, I will stay in Kiev." And last 4 months, nothing changed. Even yesterday, I asked, he said, "No. Mom,
He's still.
I need to be in Ukraine."
So it's.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and every day for sure, like my family, I had them brothers, I have a lot of family members in Ukraine, and every day we in the morning, in the evening, during the day, we are in contact and check all news because the rockets explode every day. And for example, yesterday it was in the area where is like the West Ukraine, where is my family living, and also are you okay? Are you feeling okay? And the most important question we asking each other after the February 24, are you okay?
Yeah,
like
it's the only thing that matters.
Only one, yeah, and I love you. It's like the most important words for last months.
Yeah, thank you for your very, very personal view. I didn't mean to interrupt with that, but I think it's very important to also talk about things like this, because that's what some people tend to forget. Like next to all of the jobs you're doing and next to all the work everybody's in, everyone has a family somehow, somewhere, and
no, it's impossible to split, yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Like you live one life, and it's in your life you have for sure, like the people you care about most, for sure it's your family, it's your closest one, but also you're looking for the other people, you want to care about other people, you want to save everybody. And sometimes you're also crying because you have no power to save all the people.
Sure. I can just imagine it. I've never been in that situation, but what I see is that you're very passionate about your duties, obviously, not also as a mom, obviously too, but also on your different parts where you're involved. And I found out that you studied at the Khmelnytsky National University, is that right?
Yeah.
And it's a famous uni for management and law, I would say. What did you study there and why?
I studied economics.
Okay.
It was unexpected for my parents, for sure. I think it's like the very similar in the Austria, because when I'm speaking with my Austrian friends, they said, "Why did you choose this profession?" Because my parents recommended, or because my parents was in this industry. And the same we had in Ukraine, you know. And the Ukrainians, we are following what is the job was your parents had, yeah. And my dad had the two education, one medical and second one is law. And my mom was like the economical. you know. And for sure, my parents was looking that I will be doctor, because I love the biology, I love chemistry. It was my the passion, and they was looking that I will be the doctor, and they was thinking just in this way. But I was making another decision. I did choose the economics, and I was choosing international economical affairs in the economics. And because it was the 90s, it was very popular, because Ukraine get independence, and the doors was open, the other countries started to open their borders, and we tried to be the international, and it was very new, and it was very interesting, and it was my choice. I was coming to the economics. And also another reason why I was coming in economics, because the economics you can find in each industry. Yeah, for example, if you're a doctor, you're just the doctor. For sure, you can the eye, or the dentist, or But if you're working in the economics, it's you can find you in any industry, including the medical care.
Yeah, it's true. How come that you are so interested in economics? It's also, I saw a lot about finance and investment on your page, and agri-food, obviously, you just told us. Sadly spoken, it's still kind of a man's world in that position. So where does it come from that you are interested in exactly those subjects? Because the economics can explain you any process, you know, and even if you come in by, I said the economics you can find in any industry, because you can't just be the economist or manager. You need to understand whole processes. And when you're in the economics, you need to understand technology, you need to understand the human resources, you need to understand the logistics, you need to understand commercial side. And when you're economist, you need to know each side, you know, of any processes of any industry, of any companies. That is why it's very interesting. But what I want to say is that usually, for example, in Ukraine, most of the economists, the woman, is the woman's fault. When you come in, for sure, in the banking industry, top managers is the male's fault. If you looking for the execution side, it's the woman's. It's we have such for sure the more and more women on the top positions, but for sure on the top levels usually it's the men's fault, and the executives it's for sure women. Why women? Because more responsible, because ready to work more hard, you know, the more obligations, and that is why what I see at the moment that the more and more companies prefer the women on the responsible positions, because they're the more focuses, the more responsibilities, more hardworking. The women.
Yeah,
that's how we are, hardworking.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the 24th of January, obviously. I think I don't have to mention what happened there. And then you were also born in Kiev? No, because you lived in Kiev before.
Yeah, I was coming, I was living in Kiev last 10 years. Because I was working for the previous company, and the top level moved to Kiev, and I had no options, you know. I needed to move with the head office, and but before my job was connected mostly to Kiev and more with the other countries, because I was responsible for the international activities, and I was travel a lot for business reason. And for me, it was not something new, because usually 50% of my time I spent in Kiev as well. But I was born in the West Ukraine, in Khmelnytsky. Where is even the big part of my family live at the moment. And you know, the West Ukraine always was more focused to the Europe, not more focused to the East, more focused to the West, yeah, with the values, with the entrepreneurship approaches, with everything. Yeah, and that's why I bring all this stuff from there. As for Kiev, coming back to the February 24, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where were you on the 24th?
You know, that we get a lot of information about the war is possible, but nobody trusts. You know, not too many people trust that it can happen, because we can't put in our head that it's the one day could be possible to fight with the people who your family members, your relatives, we have a very deep connection, and nobody can imagine that could happen. Even myself, I get a lot of information that it's dangerous, and it's possible. It's 100% possible to say no. It's it's not. And I was waking up even evening before. We had the business community meeting. I'm the member of one of the biggest business community, around 1,000 business owners and we had the meeting evening before. It was discussing about the risk, about everything, and till the end of the day we decided that it's like no, nothing happened.
Nothing
it could be some provocation, but no. Yeah. But at 5 in the morning I was waking up of the rockets, explosions, of the sirens, and for sure you're in panic, and you have no the mechanism how to act, what to do, and my first thoughts was okay, I will take the documents, I will come for a few days to the West Ukraine, the crazy for West Ukraine, and in week I will come back for Kiev, because it's impossible what we have at the moment, and that is why for sure at the beginning my bag it was my documents, the passport, I don't know, I take my documents for my apartments and some for my companies, I put it together, and in the home suit and sports shoes, and
just left.
My friend was calling to me, and let's go. I said, yeah, let's go. And we was thinking that we are coming just for a few days, and we will come back in maximum in a week. We will be back home. But the situation was so hard, and during all our way, it was the explosion, which the sirens. It was so horrible because you are not ready. Nobody did teach you before, nobody did tell you before how to act, nobody did explain you, and what you have at the beginning, you have just the beginning, the fears you get from your grandparents, because for example my grandmothers, my grandfathers, they understand what is the second war, because they were deep in all these processes. And you just get this the basic fears you get from your relatives when they did tell about the war, and you try to explain, no, it's not possible, your mind can't accept it, and that is why you're not acting as the clever person, you're acting like the person who tried to save your lives. Yeah, and but unfortunately it did not finish in 3 days, it did not finish in 1 week. And maybe I feel the clear thoughts come to my head maybe in a week. Okay, we need to act in what we can do. Okay, charity, yes, humanitarian aid, cyber aid, whatever, donation. We try to be useful, each single Ukrainian try to be useful. Children, old people, everybody, who can do. You can prepare, cook, you can, I don't know, collect the empty bottles, you can fight, you can, everybody try to be useful. You have for sure I did not tell about the donation because everybody sent, we had sent everywhere. We are calling to our friends, international friends, asking about the support. It was the very active time. We didn't think about any businesses. We just think about to save what we can do and defense how we can, and we try to be useful, everyone. Did you
use the connection to your jobs you had for this?
Absolutely. Yeah. And what was very important, and it's the deep in my heart forever. When it just started, I get 1,000 calls around the world from the people I know, from the people I was working for, people I just know a bit, we had just a simple connection. Everybody proposed help, everybody from any country around the world. And it was the totally the union when the really it was that 1,000 calls, 1,000 message, where you, any help you need, what we can do for your people, we can deliver you some aid. Everybody tried to be useful, and friends, business connection, just the people, couple times, meet somewhere in some business meetings, and everybody tried to be useful, and really it was the huge support until now. Until now I feel the same.
So, and one of those 1,000 mails and phone calls you got was from Austria, or how did you?
From the different countries, including from the Austria. For example, one of our business contact from the Austria, they saved around 30 Ukrainian families. But when I said about the families, organized the transportation, organized the basic support, everything, you know, because the people really, they did leave the homes just with like the, as I said, with the documents, because you did not can imagine that it for a long time, and it was the winter time, and who did leave the Ukraine? It's like the women and children. Because for men it was like most of the men opposite. They did come back from Europe to Ukraine. The men who was working in the Europe, they was coming back to Ukraine to defend the country, and that is why like it was like the support needed women and the children. And some of my Austrian contacts really, they saved a lot of families and provided the big support. Yeah.
So you came here when exactly?
I was coming 1.5 months ago, maybe around 2 months ago. Yeah.
And how do you feel being in Austria as a foreigner? Because I'm one myself. I'm from Germany originally, and would you say they're opened up to foreign people?
In my past life, you know, as I said before the wartime, I was travel a lot in my like the business life and in my private life, and Austria is one of the countries I was very happy to come every time. I like how the Austrians respect other people, you know. Maybe it's not too many countries in the Europe where like when you had any problem with your religious nationalities, color of the skin, you know, all the things you can meet in other country, and you feel like you feel free, you feel protected. It's like the most important things. And from my first day here, when I was coming and decided that I'm ready to get the temporary protection here in the Austria, I met very nice people in the police, in the migration service, everywhere. And everybody asked, what can I do for you? And I feel like I'm coming home, you know, and it's very important. But the most important thing, what I feel here is like the safety. You know, like I am safety. And for Ukrainians at the moment, it's like the roof, it's like it's the basis, it's most important to feel in the country you're kind of.
Sure. You just said about the Austrian government, it was very opened up to you and received your help. Do you think everybody would get the same help that you got? Because you have a job, obviously, not too few jobs. You are a persona. But there are also Ukrainian families, I would say, they don't have that personal background that you have, or that financial background that you have. Do they get the same help that you do?
I want just to make clear, what is the status of Ukrainians? They're a bit different of the status of the refugees here is, because, for example, the Ukrainians is like the special temporary status, especially for Ukraine, for the people who was like the running away from the war, and it's like the temporary status, like here is only for 1 year till March 2023. From the first day, we get the opportunities to work. To get like all services we need, you know, like to work, school for the children or kindergarten for the children, the basic healthcare, tickets for free, you know, like the access to the cultural side of the Austria, you know, like the benefits, like to be adapted from the first day. For sure, like you know, what is the main problem? What the Ukrainians have here is around 60–70% of the people with the high education, like the good educated, they had like the good job in Ukraine, you know, like the level job. And but the most popular language as an international language we use in Ukraine is English. And for sure, like most of these people, they can't find the job here is because they know like as a language it was like the demand that when you're working in Ukraine demanded English, not the German. And you can't adapt, you can't be first find something who reflect or respond to your level of the expertise, to your level of the experience, etc. And what the job market proposed? Job market proposed like the low qualification, you know, like the clean service, some jobs which are not like the respond to your level of the education and experience. For sure, the level of the support is very small because it's like the €250 if I remember correct. Yeah, it's like the not, you understand, it's to live in the Austria, it's like the very small amount. If, for example, if you need to pay for the rent, if you have no like the social accommodation, you need to pay for rent, you need to like the organize your life, it's very small. That is why it's like the no options. You need to find a job, or you need to wait for some support from your, for example, family who have like the better income. And it's not just about the like the you can sit and wait for the social payments. No, it's no way because it's like very small, and you can't organize your life just rely on the social payment which are for the status for Ukrainians.
Yeah. You had obviously other plans than coming to Vienna or leaving Kiev at all. But as far as I would say, the few moments I know you now, you won't be sitting around doing nothing and just staring into space. So what are your plans for now?
At the moment, I'm coming back to my MBA courses, because before the war, I started the MBA, but it was offline. It's like the best Kiev schools, tutors, it's like the very intensive course, very intensive group. And when the war started, we decided, okay, we will be waiting when the war will be finished. But now we understand that it could be a long time. And we decided to come back online. It's important because you need to adapt your mind, and you need to adapt your business skills to the new reality. You need to understand that you can't plan, for example, for 5 years. Like the strategies for 5 years doesn't work at the moment, and it's the COVID time, and war has shown us. That is why you need need to be ready to change your the business mind. You need to be ready to change your social mind, and you need to fix on your goals. And that is why we are coming back to the education courses. Understand that we really need, and because it's important in the moment. Second, for sure, most of the project I did review and discuss it with the team, because for sure, as we was acting before the war, it was what it was important before the war, and what is a new task at the moment. It's the new task. That is why we review our activities, and we continue it for sure. Most of the time we are communicated online than offline. But we continue to do for sure with the cut something, we change something, we made a lot of changes. For sure, the very important stage for me here is, I think, as for other Ukrainians, is to adapt and to find the working contacts here is in the Austria. Because most of the people also was coming with the good project they had in Ukraine, and it's very important to how to coordinate, communicate with Austrian business. We can find some solutions how to say, maybe to create something new, or maybe to start some new project will be useful for Ukraine in the future, for recovery of Ukraine. Because at the moment, my focus of attention, and it was shown the Lugano conference was finished last week, is about recovery of Ukraine. Yes, war is continue, but we started to think what we will do and how we can be useful when the war will be finished, or when the active stage of the war will be finished. We need to recover economy, we need to recover Ukraine, we need to recover business, we need to recover our life. And most of the focus groups and the attention connected with this ones. That's why in the Austrian business, Austrian government want to be in the processes of the recovery of Ukraine, and it's also the questions for many levels of communication here is, and that is why it's not time to sit and wait. We need to understand what is the focuses, what we need to do, and what the interest of the local business, how we can support together what we will do in the future. Because if you're looking for the numbers, I love the numbers, I love the numbers. Around 6 million people left Ukraine. Around 2 million people is coming back. At the moment, coming back for Ukraine for different reasons. For example, somebody did not find how to live here. Somebody missed in Ukraine so much, even the risks they had in Ukraine less than they pain here is in the Europe. Some of the people came back because their family, most of the family in Ukraine, they can't stay here is alone, and there is different reasons. Yeah, but 30% of the people coming back, according to the information of the National Statistic Institute. 90% of Ukrainians who are outside of Ukraine, they wanted to come back, and they are waiting to come back. And that is a question: with what you will come back? Is it just like the basic experience how to live in other country? No, you need to come back with the contacts. You need to come back with new people, with a new communication, with new possibilities, and use it for the future. You know, just like the main task, I think, for all Ukrainians who are at the moment outside Ukraine, to communicate as much as they can with the people who can be your partners, your friends, your future business contacts, your future projects, and to take everything what you can, be useful now, and be, how to say, the partners in the future.
And rebuild a lot of cities that are ruined completely.
Yeah.
I had one last question about your time in Austria and as a foreigner for the moment. What surprised you positively, and which challenges are you facing at the moment?
I think it's like the most interesting thing from the beginning, from my the past visits to Austria and my current life here is I have no the stimulus. For example, if I'm not going to be the hired of some German Austrian companies, I do not need German language, because everybody,
English,
everywhere, everywhere, in the food store, on the street, everywhere, any assistance I need, the people answer me on English. And here is on the Austria very good level of the of the English. Even we had the interview on the English.
Yes.
Yeah, that is why it's the good things that it's the no borders, and very friendly, very open, and what I like the very intelligent, very respectful people here is in the Austria. I like the speed of the life. Here is in the Austria.
It's vibrant.
I like how the people, it's what we discussed between Ukrainians. We always hurry, what is the specific of Ukraine? We always hurry. From Monday till Sunday. Here is in the Austria, people have here is the work, and here is my time with the family, and here is my holidays, and here is my weekend. And they respect the time you can spend with your family. In Ukraine, most of the time it's the job, business, you need to be busy, it's we always hurry. And
sounds very German, actually. Same in Germany, always on time, everywhere.
Yeah, and it surprised me in a good way, because sometimes you okay, yeah, you can, for example, why the shops closed in the Sunday? They can make more money, they can make, the people will be more busy, they get more salaries. And at the same time, they think, no, but at the same time, you have the rest, you have time for you have time to work, to spend time with the families, you respect your time. And that is why I think it's something you will add to your life in the future as well. Because not just run, not just achieve, not just to be active. No, be slowly, look after yourself, spend more time with your close one, and respect your time, not connected just with the job. It's the very interesting to feel it, because if you're living between the people like you are, you do not feel such things. When you live in a different culture, you feel this respect for how to split between work time and your time. I call it your time.
You time. Me time.
Yeah, life balance. Yeah, life balance. Yeah.
Okay, this is all pro. And is there some challenges? Something you had it? Documents, bureaucracy, the classical stuff.
Maybe about the bureaucracy. I think you have even in your bureaucracy you have more trust to the people.
Because they're not corrupt?
Not corrupt, it's the more simple. For example, when I needed registration, I was surprised that it was enough, like the paper filled by pen by the owners of the apartment, just like that, fill the form with my name without any. And I asked, "Are you coming with me to the?" No, I think it's enough. You know, can you imagine like the, and from my point of view, for sure, we have, for example, Ukraine, we need like the confirmation, signature, passport, the people will come with you, like the, you know, too much like the confirmation. For sure, like the, we have very high level of the digitalization of the state services, but for sure it's like the, here is like the most simple. And I'd admit a few times such cases, just like the enough same papers with the, was written by pen and just the signature of the people, it's enough for the state, for the governmental authorities, you know. It's like the, I think it's the high level of the trust, and it's very interesting, it's very important. As for some, you know, I don't know, maybe, for example, I can here, we have the high level of the digitalization of the bank services. And for example, if you're a user of the one of the banks, does not matter in which region this bank have like the departments. And here is what our people said, that, for example, if you're working with the banks in one region and you will come to another region, you need to have to install program from this bank from that region to another region. Like it's like the additional bureaucracy. And here is we have only one app and all services in one app. You know, that is why. But you know, it's if you compare with the pluses. If you compare with advantages, it's very small. How to say? It's very small things you can accept.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
And even for me, what I said to you at the beginning, it's like I feel like they're very protected and I feel very secured. For example, any time of my day, doesn't matter, day, evening, night, any region, any districts, here is very safety in the Austria. Even at the beginning, it was like the some focuses you pay attention for. I was in the underground, like in the tube, and one woman, she started like to tell something bad. I understand that something bad because she was so loud, and pay attention to the people with different skin in the tube. Maybe in a few minutes, I did see the policemen. I understand somebody like they pressed the button, and on the next station it was like the coming police guys, and this woman like the run away. So you know, it's like the such security and protection issues solved in the, you know, like the few minutes, and it's so good, you know. It's like the you pay attention to how cool it is, and that is why when you're speaking with the people who live in here with Ukrainians who live in here is not after the February 24 and before, they said the Austria is the country for the people. For each one, you know, it's like if you're looking for the respect, if you're looking for the social security, if you're looking for protection, if you're looking where the government pay big attention for each one, it's like the Austria. It's not the, you know, like it's like some stereotypes. It's not the country for the business. It's the country where your family will be happy to live.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's wrong, but it's like it's opinion from the people. And also the most important thing about you can get education till 99 years old itself.
Yes.
You know?
University is free, true.
Yeah,
Vienna is super. Let's talk a little bit about Europe in general. I have a very simple question. Would you consider yourself European, and why?
I was born in the West Ukraine. And it was 90s when I was like the teenager, like I was 70, 80, 90 years old. It was like the period when the Ukraine became open, you know, it's like the all borders was like destroyed, Soviet Union broken, and we did start looking not to the Moscow side, we did look to the European side, and we are traveling more to the Europe than to the east part of the world, you know, and we are more close as for values, as for entrepreneurship spirit, as for, how to say, focus, as values, everything, freedoms. It's like it's more about the Europe, for sure, you understand. And for example, the beginning of the war is thrown, we are fighting for the freedom. We don't feel like the fighting because we hate the Russians or somebody else. No, we are fighting for our borders and we are fighting for the freedom. And what is European most like the highest European values is the freedom. You know, freedom of each one and the your borders. You know, like the protect your values, protect your borders, protect yourself. And for sure, yes, it's like it's about Europe.
It's about Europe. What is Europe at all? And after all, because we have now, the European continent is a little bit split at the moment, because we share a continent with Russia as well. It's the same continent, it's Eurasia. So what is Europe in general saying?
You know, I did not split in myself, inside myself, or I did not split at all, because I easily communicate with the Europeans. It doesn't matter. It's like on the north from the south. For sure, you know, if you're looking totally in the Europe, it's a bit different people. And for example, if you even look to the Ukraine, it's different people, a bit different mentality from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west. But totally, it's like the common basis. What you're looking for, what you're expecting for, you're protected with, and it's more about like the. Again, it's about like the protection of the interest of the individuals of each one. It's not just you need to protect like the imperial. You need to how to say, it's about the focuses on the values of each personality. I think it's like it's more about Europe. So
protection is something that is a problem at the moment, would you say?
No. I mean, I'm individual. For example, doesn't matter. I'm German. I'm Austrian. I'm Polish. Or I am Greece. No, it's just about that who I am, and I have the freedom to make choice what I want. And I know that each moment of the time I can get the support from the country, from the government where I'm living, and to get how to say, the basic support, and also I get the support of my wishes, of my desires, and they respect what I'm doing.
Ukrainians are not the only people that are trying to get out of the country because of war or other crises, and sometimes you get the feeling that people tend to be willing to help Ukrainians more than other foreigners, because we feel more connected to you because of all these things that you just said, culture, beliefs, religion, maybe.
Yeah.
And then, for example, somebody from Syria. So would you say you act the same in return? If I would fly from Austria to Ukraine, would you be the same to me, or would you act different if I would be from Syria?
I know it's about like that was the question. It was even some political games connected with the respect, for the different nationalities who are coming as refugees. What I would like to say is that for sure, like it's a unique situation. How fast we get the support, it's like we get the immediately support. When the war was started, we get immediately support from each single European country. Each country opens the doors. What is also another unique cases for the, how to say, world situations, that the Europeans open their homes, because most of the Ukrainians started to live at homes, not at the social accommodation houses here. Europeans open their houses for the Ukrainians. I think what happened, because the Ukrainians before was coming to the Europe, and they have their business, they was working for Europeans, and Europeans understand we were so close in the past. As you said, we have the similar religions, we have the similar family values. It was deep in the personal friendship, business relation. And Europeans understand Ukrainians more than, for example, people from the Muslim countries, like from the Middle East. It's like a bit different mentality and a bit different understanding. As for, how to say, did the Ukrainians get less or more than, for example, the Syrian peoples? From my point of view, not. Because again, Ukrainians coming with a special law. It's like the temporary protection. What means temporary protection? It's like the protection for 1 year. And if, for example, Austrian government or European Parliament decided that it's safe to come back to Ukraine, all status will be cancelled.
Okay.
First things.
It's not a classic refugee status.
No.
Okay.
For example, if you will we will compare with the refugees who are coming from the Syria and other countries, they become refugees from the first day. They do not get the work, but they get for example, good social security payments. Yeah, as I said, Ukrainians have like the 200 euro. It's like the stimulate you just for the basic step to get this money to, I don't know, to buy the clothes. And after you need immediately to find a job. Yeah, and be integrated to the economical society. And that is why it's like the different approach, and it's different economical scheme. And for example, Ukrainians lost their status as soon as the war will be finished and the government decided that it's safe to come back. And as I said, 90% of the Ukrainians want to come back.
Okay.
You know, it's not just about to stay here, to take all your family members. I said my story. When I asked like my family members, maybe you can move. It's like it's dangerous. A lot of rockets around you. They said, no, we stay in Ukraine. You know, that is why it's like these differences that we are not to try to move here. Take all our family members, even they stay under the rockets. We want to come back and continue to recover our country.
And what about those who wanted to stay because they feel very fine in Vienna and just feel good? Are they allowed to stay, or do they have the normal refugee status?
No, according to the information, again, I just can talk based on the information I had. It's around 10% who are coming here for the best economical situation and for the best conditions to do business and to live. You know, like just the 10%. But it's always, I think, in any country, the people who move and try to find a better life or better business for them or for their families. That's why it's not very critical. For example, if you're looking for the, according to the information, it's around 200 Ukrainians are coming to the Austria, and around 70,000 get the status. Yeah, or like the 70,000 is like the 10%. You understand? It's like the. It's about nothing, and 50% the children. Yeah, that is why it's not the big numbers. But again, to coming back, what we did speak before, that it's usually the 70% of the people highly educated, and they will be, even if they will stay here, they will be very well integrated to the economical system. It's not about the social security payments, it's about to be like the part of the economical system of the Austria. That is why I think it's like the more pluses for the economy of the Austrians and the minuses for.
If Ukraine is European, or from all the cultural beliefs more European, what is Russia? Is it Asian or is it its own?
There are many also Russians who are looking to the European side, and when the war was started, a lot of Russian companies and Russians also tried to leave the country. And but for sure, like the most of the Europe was closed, and they did choose some countries who was accepted Russians. But what is the problem of the Russia? For many years, they had a very strong propaganda, and the really Russian government invest a lot for like to zombie the people about the big empire, about like they're like the best in the world, they're like the strongest in the world, there's like the each other country need to respect, and you know, like the propaganda works, and that is why like the most of the people trust him, and that is why we had at the beginning of the war, and even now and before the war, we had the problems that for example, the people who was born in Ukraine, who was living in Ukraine, who says the family members in Ukraine, they trust more propaganda than they had experience in Ukraine. It's like it's so horrible that how this informational technology can change the mind of the people. But I think it's like the time will come in anyway, and we'll see.
Do you have Russian friends, and what happened to them now? Do you still be friends if you have some?
For sure, like some of my family members are also in Russia, and maybe I'm lucky that like they still stay on our side. I have some friends, I like the contacts, Russian contacts. It was very interesting to see how they changed their opinion. When the first day war started, they said, "Oh, so horrible! We can't believe it's impossible. No, it's like not impossible." Maybe in 2 weeks, they sent me a message. Are you sure that you know true? You know. I said, what do you mean? Like you also get a lot of information from the news. Are you sure that your news is relevant? Yeah, maybe in few weeks I stopped. In such case, I stopped communication. In few weeks, they said, no, we are like the brothers and sisters. We need to understand each other. You know, let's think about the good things, not about the bad things. And it's about politics. We can't do anything because like it's dangerous to say anything against the government, and you know, it's like very hard to talk with because they're afraid. They anyway, they had the strong influence of the propaganda, and it's like the moment they have like the not clear understanding in their heart what is in.
Yeah, we had a similar situation during COVID times, where families and friends are torn apart because of exactly what you say now. So it is war on both sides somehow.
Anyway, I so hope that for sure, you know, maybe the problem is that at the moment they need to accept the nations of the killers and the people who delivered the pain and the death to the other country. And for sure, like if you for many years was proud to be Russian, now you need to accept that you're like the part of this horrible and bloody story. And for sure, you will be looking for some explanation that it's not you are, you know, it's not possible, it's impossible, and it's like that can't be true, you know. But I think like in some period of time, they will come to the truth, but for sure it will be late. Each single day we lost many of our people, our children and civilians and the defense people. It's so big price for.
I can just imagine that there are probably people that feel pity for your situation, when you tell them where you come from, but maybe also other emotions occur, maybe anger or grief or sadness. How do you deal with all these emotions all the time at the moment?
I didn't meet anybody who say something bad, you know. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the reason if somebody said me something very bad about that we are wrong, or we did do wrong things, or we need to act in other way, I will be so angry. But I trust that I meet people who really understand what is going on and how hard it is, and even they did not have such a situation in their life, and they're supportive, very respectful, and what I said, I'm so appreciative for the people I met here, yes, every day. For sure, I am more emotional, especially when I started to speak about Ukraine, about the family, about all the things. Sometimes I think all my tears finish, but not. Every day I think, no, my tears it's like the deposit of the tears finish now. Because it's so sensitive things and you can't manage in proper way.
It is emotional, definitely.
It's emotional. It's like it's still you know that sometimes I met some information in the media that Europe tired of the situation. They wanted to change. They wanted to sign the peaceful agreement and blah blah. But it's like the more just in the media side. But if you met real people, as I understand that it's so hard, and it's like we had the reason why we are doing, and any peaceful agreement impossible because nobody ready to propose us the peaceful agreement. Yeah, and we are not ready to cut our country. We are not ready to forget about our people who are under the bombs each single day. What is the peaceful agreement could be if we need to forget our thousands of our people who are under the bombs? No, it's impossible. Just in case they stop the bombing and we can sit and negotiate. No other way.
Do you find yourself hoping that you one time wake up from a bad dream, or do you look into the future optimistically and see a chance in all of this?
Yes, for sure, I'm very optimistically. I said from the beginning, I was thinking that's 1 week and it will be, no, it's impossible. No, maybe 1 month, no, it's impossible, you know. And I am realist. Yeah, I understand that it's like the situation will be not finished very fast. But for sure, like if everybody will do some steps ahead, what you can do? You can do something for the people you're living with. You can do for the businesses you're connected with. You can do something for the communities you're with. You have a good connection with the politics. You also can communicate and asking for support. And we can act at the moment and to make this victory closer, you know. Mm-hmm. Do everything what you want, what you can, and what you're able to do. On the political level, on the economical level, on the social level, to support the people. Do not let them like each single day. If you like to save somebody, if you like to support somebody, if you like do not let any woman or children to feel very bad and think about death, you do big job and you make like the victory closer. You know, so that's why I think like what we can do at the moment, like do everything what you can. Support how you can and how you're able to do, and for sure like the trust in our defense, trust in our army, trust in our government, trust in our politics, and trust in the international communities that we are still supported, and they are looking for the peace Europe, and they are looking for the peaceful time for our people.
I read in the news today that Ukraine is at the moment facing a problem of deserters. They're complaining about bad supply in food and weapons. And some of the youth might question themselves why they still fight and for what. And my question is here, could bureaucracy, because this is a problem of bureaucracy, could end up being the real problem here?
As for food, it's like a bit different, you know. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm talking about the food, Ukraine produce enough of food for internal supply. Mm-hmm. It's enough food for sure. Like only some position we was exported, but mostly we are covered of the all food demands inside of Ukraine, and even we produce much more because the Ukrainian agriculture was export oriented, you know, at the moment we have like many like the export position, and but the problem for the export because it also was like the income of our companies, of our businesses who was exported in the past. That is why as for food it's like not like the huge problem. We like the satisfied and we are covered of own production enough. As for weapons it's a bit different because it's like the political decision. Ukraine didn't produce enough. We never was thinking we a country and need to fight with somebody. And that is why we like the produce something was enough for some like the short-term demands, you know. But we never was like the preparing for the war, you know. That is why when the war was started, we started to depend on the other countries who can supply us these weapons. And what is most important, I need to do the focus. We was asking for the defense weapons, not for the attack weapons. What we have at the moment, Russia attack and we defense. We do not attack.
Helmets.
We do not attack, you know. Yeah. It's like we are sitting in our territory, just like they try to defense. What is Russia do? They attack, you know. It's like and that is why what we get as a supply, we get just some amount for defense. Mm-hmm. And as long and as Russia continue to attack, and as much weapons we need for the, how to say, for defense. Mm-hmm. And that is why for sure we are dependent on the international partners, and for sure we understand it's like the need time for the political agreements, what country can provide what, you know, it's like a lot of bureaucratic procedures, and for sure like it's one of the most difficult side at the moment. That is why we have not enough for defense.
Do we need borders? In between countries? Do we need borders?
I think I trust that in Ukraine they get like the candidate status, and I think in it's like just the issue how fast how fast the borders will be cut.
One day there won't be any borders anywhere.
Yeah, I think between us, because as we said before, we had a lot of similar things. We had the common businesses, we had the common transportation system. It's like the too many common things, you know, and it's just the issue how fast the European Union or European Parliament and the European Commission will move the process between Ukraine and the European Union.
Mm-hmm. This would answer my curse and blessing question, because I've also always one curse and blessing question every interview, and it would be Ukraine in the European Union. Is it a curse or a blessing?
I think it's win-win.
Okay. And one last question. Ukraine won the Eurovision Song Contest. Was this a coincidence or destiny?
It's not our first awards, you know. We did win before, and always we was present at Ukraine on the high level, and even it's like the contest was conducted in the Kiev. It was like all people were satisfied who was coming, but for sure, like it will be depend from the situation for next year.
Let's see.
We also expect that we can conduct on the high level, and
let's see what happens.
Yeah, we have a lot of talented people. You know, it's like it's not about the politics, because in the previous years when Ukrainians get the first places and there was winner of the Eurovision, and it was not politics. It really was because we have the talented people, and we're proud we have it.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much for the interview und danke sehr fürs Zuschauen.
Idealism prevails. Make the world a better place.